Hello everyone, this is John from Vulgar Kitten Studios, and welcome to my tutorial on how to write Node.js code on an Android phone. Now, I know I haven't put out a video in a really long time, and that's just because I haven't had a lot of things going on in my life and just no time to focus on YouTube at all. So I apologize about that, but this is a cool thing that I've been working on for a while, and it's fairly hard to do, especially if you don't have root. So I wanted to make a video tutorial on how to do it, so that way you guys can do what I've been doing. So let's just go ahead and get right to it. What you'll need to do first is download a couple of apps. So we'll just open up the App Store here. And the first thing you want is Droid Script. Now what this is an application that allows you to write applications using pure JavaScript. So you basically, if you can create a website, then you can create a mobile app that can actually make use of every sensor on your phone. So everything from the accelerometer to the gyroscope to the just the camera or anything you want can all be accessed through the Droid Script API. And this is kind of what it looks like. I've written an app in just a Flappy Bird clone, which is running kind of slow just because I got my screen recorder going, but it's pure JavaScript, so you know that's what it can do. It can do pretty much anything you can do, or anything you can think of. But go ahead and get this app, and in order to make your life a little bit easier in writing code, you'll probably want to get Droid Edit too, and there is a pro version of this as well as a free version. So if you don't want to pay for the app, you can and just install the free version, and it'll work just the same as a pro version does, except you don't have access to like things like Google Drive and there's ads and stuff like that. So the pro version, it really is useful. It's worth it to pay for it. So I recommend doing that. But it's an IDE that it has syntax highlighting and a bunch of other features that allow you to write in several different coding languages on your phone. So you want that. Also, the main app that we're going to want to get is an app called Termux, and Termux is it's basically a terminal emulator, but with a lot of cool things like BusyBox and stuff readily available to anybody, even without root. So that is really cool. But it does have a few limitations, and that's what I really want to show you today, is how to work around those limitations to allow you to write Node.js code on your phone. So go ahead and install this, and you will also probably want to use Hacker's Keyboard. That's the keyboard that I use. Now this keyboard is probably the best that I've ever found as far as trying to write code on a phone without a real hardware keyboard. This is a soft keyboard that allows you to, if you look at the bottom of my screen here, you can even set it up to have a full QWERTY keyboard, just in portrait mode instead of landscape as well. And it's just it feels nice for writing code and that sort of thing. So yeah, Hacker's Keyboard. It's just Hacker's Keyboard, and there it is. Okay, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and talk about the setup process to get into writing Node.js. So you'll want to open up Termux, and the first thing that you'll want to run in Termux as soon as you open it is Termux setup storage. And it does have tab functionality too, so you can start typing in a command and then hit tab and it'll autocomplete. So you'll want to run this, and I've already ran it, so I don't really need to run it again, but I'll run it anyway. This will just set up directory permissions and that sort of thing. Now, unless you have root, you won't be able to write to your SD card or any other directories that are outside of home. That's a security feature of the Android operating system, and that's what we actually have to work around. But you also you install apps just like you would on a Linux operating system. If you've ever run Ubuntu, then you're familiar with apt, the package manager. So you'll that's the same. It's the same syntax that that Termux uses. So you'll want to apt install or apt install, and then whatever programs you want. So you'll want to install Git, and you'll want to install Node.js. I already have both of these installed, so it's just going to tell me that it's not going to upgrade any. But this is the bare minimum that you'll want to have in order to write Node.js on here. But once you install Node.js, then you'll have access to npm. So anyway, that will run, and you'll be able to install npm packages. but you'll only be able to install them into the home directory for Termux. So again, only this directory here, this datacom, Termux, files, home, that's the only one you'll be able to install any sort of npm packages to. So in order to get around this and be able to work with the Droid Script, the Droid Script directory, you'll want to have a Git service. So that's why we install Git. So if you have a GitHub account or a Bitbucket account, this is what we'll be using. I prefer to use Bitbucket just because it has a nicer user interface in Chrome, especially for mobile, and it also allows you to have unlimited private repositories and organize your repositories into projects and that sort of thing a lot more intuitively than GitHub does. So that's why I use Bitbucket. But in order to write a Node.js application, you'll first have to create a repository at your Git provider. And so I'm going to go ahead and create a repository. I'm not going to do anything fancy with it. I'm just going to call it test. And then I'll just create that. So, well, let's see, test. Yep, like that. And we'll create the repository. And now it'll show. So we'll want to go ahead and copy this to the clipboard. So I'm going to go ahead and clone this. I'm just going to hit this button here and copy it to the clipboard so I can clone it in Termux. And what I like to do in the home folder is I create a development directory. So if I just ls here, you will see that I have a dev directory in here. And I will cd into dev. And then I'll go ahead and I'll clone this repository. Now it's going to ask me for my password. So I'm going to pause the recording while I put that in. Okay, so I've put it in and we should be able to, well, I guess, hang on. It's telling me that I didn't have the correct one. So I'm going to do that one more time. Just like this. Just want my password. Okay, it's telling me that I've cloned an empty repository, which is fine. I hope it just actually cloned it. Yes, it did. So what we can do, we can go ahead and cd into test. And what is this? We'll go ahead and npm init. And go ahead and get all the defaults so that we can install some packages. And so I'll go ahead and I'll npm install. Let's just go with Webpack, yeah. Or actually, there's a few repositories that I want to install. Well, nah, we'll just go with Webpack. I'll do a tutorial later on how to use Webpack to do ES6 code and all that stuff. If you really want to in the future, just comment and let me know. So we'll npm I tag save dev, and we'll go Webpack. So this should reach out to npm and install this. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. And we're almost done here. Hopefully I didn't resume the video too early. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we can ls and we can see that we actually have a Node modules directory in here. And if you have Git, which you should, if you follow the steps so far, then you will want to go ahead and you'll want to git add everything. Make sure you don't have a git ignore that ignores the node modules package or the node modules directory, because that's the whole point of this, is we want to upload our node modules directories into our Git repository. So we'll go ahead and add everything. And this will take just a second. And you can check that by using git status and make sure that everything is up to date. And so it is. Sweet. So now we can go ahead and git commit check in, and we'll just say init and then we'll go ahead and git push, and it's going to want my password. Okay, so we're pushing it all up there. Hopefully that's, yeah, there we go. All right, so that's all ready to go. And I may have messed up right here just because we want to be able to run this in Droid Script. But I will show you a workaround here so that we can make this happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up Droid Script, and I'm going to make the folder test. So I'm going to make the folder test, or I'm going to make the file test, or the app test. That's what I'm trying to do. And when you make a new app, then it just gives you a template that shows you what you're trying to work with. And you do want to make that an HTML app. I forgot to mention that. Just you know, if you're going to use Webpack and everything, so you can insert your bundle file. So now we have that test app. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into that folder and we're going to delete it. So I have a symlink to my Droid Script directory here in the home directory to make it a little bit easier to access. So you can do that if you want. You can just use ln tac s and then link to the home directory. But I have that outside of Devil. And so it's here, this storage directory. I've linked to my storage directory. So I'm going to go ahead and cd into this. But actually first I want to go ahead and show you, you can access the root. So, you know, you can see everything that's in here. So like you can actually like cd into storage and list out everything in here. Go into, I believe maybe it's emulated it. No. Is this the SD card? Yes, it is. So self maybe. Okay, that didn't work. So let me see. It would probably be, let's see, SD card maybe? Yeah, SD card, and then this is going to, yeah, okay, so the SD card actually has the Droid Script here, so you can cd into Droid Script. And from here, you can do stuff there, you know, so, but anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm going to use my symlink. So I'm going to cd back to home, cd into storage, shared, Droid Script. And in here, I'll see my Droid Script project. So we see that test folder there. But I'm going to go use my ES File Explorer to set things up. So I'm going to open this and I'll go into my Droid Script folder. And I'll go into test, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to cut and paste this into the main folder here. So that way I have access to it. And I'm going to delete the test folder. So this way I can actually go to my Bitbucket account here. And I can see that my push worked. So we'll go ahead and clone this again. So I'll copy the link And I'll go back to, well, not ES File Explorer. We will go back into Termux, and we'll cd into test. What's going on here? Yeah, indeed. We can't cd into test. My bad. What we're going to want to do is we're going to just want to clone that, because that'll give us the test directory. So, and this is going to download that. So now we're going to ls this, and we can see that we now have the test directory. So I'm going to cd into test. And we see everything that we have from our repository there. But before we open up our Droid Script app again, what we're going to want to do, we're going to cut and paste this back into the test folder. So that way it knows what to look for. Because this test.html file is what it's actually going to look for in Droid Script to open up the application. So you can open up Droid Script again. And it should just work as it did before. So if I open the app, it does not crash, tells us everything is good, and there we go. Okay, so now in order to work with Webpack and get that all working good, first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up test with we're going to open up test with our Droid edit. And so we can see we got our syntax highlighting and everything working. This is good. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and link to a script. We haven't made it yet, but I'm going to link to it. I'm going to put in script src is equal to, and then we'll probably want to put that in like a src folder, or no, we'll put that in a dist, in distribution folder, and we'll link to bundle.js, and this is going to be what Webpack will build for us. So we'll go ahead and close this off, script like that, and go ahead and Control S, save, which does work in Droid Edit, by the way, which is really cool. So now let's keep Droid Edit open. We're going to want to create a new file, and I'm going to save this, save as, and we will go back here to Droid Script, open up test, and I'm going to create a new folder in here, call it src, and in here we'll make a main.js file. So there we go. And for Webpack to work, let's see. For Webpack to work, you'll also need to install Webpack CLI, but you can only do that. You'll only be able to do that when you're installing it globally. So we go ahead and cd back to your home directory, and you want to npm install tacg Webpack CLI, which I already have that, so I'm not going to install it again. But this is just what's going to allow you to run your Webpack command like this. So now you can cd back into your shared, or your storage, shared Droid Script test folder, and you can actually set up a Webpack configuration file. So I actually have a couple of other apps that I'm already using Webpack with. So I'm just going to copy my Webpack config file from one of those. So I'm going to come out to maybe my template. And this one I actually have set up to run ES6 as well, so that's cool. But I'm going to go ahead and Control Alt A to select everything, and Control C, and go create a new file and save this as my test webpack.config.js. And we can just paste everything in here, which we're not going to use everything, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete some stuff. So this right here, we're not going to need that. Not really. Anyway, this is CSS or SCSS loader. And this is the Babel loader. We're not going to need the Babel loader. This is for the ES6 stuff. Well, honestly, no. Let's just go ahead and leave it there, because I don't think that it'll actually use anything unless I tell it to. So since we won't be doing any ES6 stuff, I don't think it'll even affect it. So Control Z everything. Actually, you know what? It'd be easier just to Control A, Control V. Yeah, just repaste it in there. And so now we can see that our entry is looking for main.js, so dir name main.js, and we want to change that to src main.js because that's where we have it at, and it's going to output the file into our distribution bundle.js. And we don't have this plugin, so we'll get rid of this. Mini extract plugin, and we'll get rid of the Sass loader. And this should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And honestly, let's just go ahead and see if Webpack works. So now we're in our directory, so we'll go ahead and Webpack, and we'll see if this works. See if it builds it. And it's telling me no, so insufficient number of arguments, something. Mode has not been set to development. Yes, it has, actually. I think it has anyway. Entry point, src. It's telling me that it's not finding it. But our mode is actually set to development. I don't know why it would tell me it's not. Interesting. Let me close these out. Make sure that I have the right one open. Test webpack config. And it's saying it's not finding that. Maybe if I add a slash onto that, it'll work. Actually, you know what? I have this variable up here as well called dev mode. So dev mode. Okay. Let's try this one more time. Hit up on Webpack. Error. Why can I not resolve src? I don't understand that. Well, you gotta love errors, though. Errors make you feel smart when you fix them. So let's open File Explorer. It's telling me, oh, I said WinPack. That's not how you spell that. Indeed. All right, so This has got to be Webpack. It's renaming, so is it gonna? I don't know why that. Probably because of the screen recorder, but anyway, yeah, let's run Webpack. Invalid configuration object. Not match the API schema. All right, what do we got here? Why does it not match the API schema? This is not fun. Why is it telling me that? It is actually development, so I set that to development. Why does it want to tell me this now? You know what? Let's just see if this has anything to do with it. I don't think it would, though. src main rules. This is perfectly valid. Why is this saying that it's not? Well, that is interesting. Well, I didn't come here to show you Webpack anyway. I come here to show you how to write Node.js code. Which, honestly, Webpack is the best way to do that. So I really want this to work. Why is this not going to work? Could it be because of this? Because I'm not using a Babel loader. Development, production. But that is, you know what? It'll just throw a warning if I don't use a mode. So let's see if this gives me a different error at least. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll see. Configuration dot mode should be set to one of these. Oh, this is still, I'm so stupid. Okay, so it is actually still using the wrong name. So mode is going to be development. And so yeah, this is very important. This is very important. We need to make sure that we spell the names of our files correctly. And so this webpack.config.js has got to be webpack.config.js. So webpack.config.js, and then we Control Alt A, Control Alt A, Control V, Control S, and this should do it. Should do it. We'll see. And there we go. Okay, so we have built it successfully. Now we have a bundle.js, so what we can do, we can go ahead and verify this by going to our ES File Explorer and checking to make sure. Let's go ahead and get rid of this file as well. We have a dist folder and a bundle.js folder, so it wrote that for us, which is really interesting because Termux doesn't have the ability to write to other directories, but Webpack can, and you run it from Termux, so that's interesting to me. But in any case, that's what we have going on here. But the most important thing that I need to note for you is when you install new Node modules, you are going to have to go back and make sure that all of your Node modules are installed from the home directory of Termux. So in order to do this, you want to make sure that you're in the directory of your application for your Droid Script build, and you want to git status, and you'll see that we have new stuff here. So we'll git add everything. You want to make sure that all of your files are synced in both copies of your app directory. So we add everything, then we commit and check in everything, and then we push. And what's my password? So we push, and then we go cd. I'm actually going to do it a different way because in Termux you can have multiple sessions, or you can even install screen. So you can run screen, and then you can Control Alt A C, start a new session, and your screen sessions will actually be held in a sidebar. Well, most of the time they are anyway. Or you can just start new sessions, and you'll have multiple sessions that you can switch between. But I just use screen for no other purpose than I'm just used to using the terminal screen. So I can Control Alt A C to create a new one, or Control Alt 1. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So Control Alt A C, Control Alt 1, or Control Alt 2, Control Alt A1, and Control Alt A2. And that's how we switch between our different terminal sessions. So one is going to be in our app folder for Droid Script, and 2, Control Alt A2. This is going to be where we're going to go to our home directory, storage, or not storage, but dev, test, and here we actually have to get, if we get status, we'll see that there's nothing to commit, but we'll want to go ahead and get pull and sync everything. So okay, so now we have everything synced. Now we can npm and let's install some random package, save dev, and some package that we can use. Let's see, what package can we use that is just really easy? I haven't really planned ahead for this, so I don't know. How about tiny ECS? An entity component system package. It's pretty neat. If you do any kind of game development, I do recommend checking this package out. But we can install this. And now we can go ahead and add all new files. Git commit tag m, update it, git push, all right, and Control Alt A1, and now we will git pull. And that should have actually updated all of our stuff for us. We can actually see here in the messages that it installed some new node modules, or it pulled down some new node modules into our node modules directory. So we can go back in here, and let's go back into Node.js, and let's just go ahead and let's say how about var tiny ECS equal to new, or require tiny ECS, like this. And I haven't used this package in a while, so I'm going to look up the docs for it too. I know this video is kind of getting a little long, but just bear with me so I can prove everything works. Tiny ES npm. And how do we use it? Entity manager. Yeah, we'll just do it. We'll just copy this from here. New entity manager. Oh, come on. Copy. And Control Alt A, Control V. Go back over here. Copy. That should be really everything that we need to do in order to prove this is working. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do it like this. So, let's say position. We'll create a new position component, and then we'll add that component. Oh, come on. No. This is all we need right here. And let's go ahead add the component, and then console.log. Let's make this a little more interesting. Let's say x is equal to 66 and y, we'll just leave it 0. But we'll console.log, make sure we spell console right. Hero dot. I think you call it with a capital. So hero dot position dot x, like this. And Control S. This is in the main file, so we will have to go back to Termux and Webpack. Well, let's make sure that we are in the right directory. This is window 1, so pwd. And we are in the right one, so Webpack. Built it, so that's a good sign. Let's go ahead and go back to Droid Script, and we'll run our application in debugging mode to see the console. So we'll long press on our application, hit edit, and hit the debugging button. Syntax error, cannot read property X of undefined. Okay, so that's interesting. But we can see that it still built it anyway. I mean, that's what I really wanted to show, but this is annoying. So why can I not say this hero.x is not defined? So what is hero? Maybe it's get component. As a matter of fact, you can also run just webpack tac watch and start a process, and that way it will just watch the file and build it every time you save. Okay. Hero.get component is not a function. Okay. Come now. Okay. Oh, wait. We actually have documentation for this. Okay. Oh, so it's just going to be a lowercase. Interesting. Okay, so we'll go back to Droid Edit. And we'll say position here. And just double check to make sure that that's saved. It did. It's okay, so it didn't do like I wanted it to. It should be watching the file. Why is it not building it? Did I save it? I know I saved it. So we save that. Maybe my screen recorder is interfering with it or something. So we'll just build it again. And there we go. All right, so you can see it, console log 66. All right, so sorry about all the errors and doing this on the fly. I didn't really plan anything for this video. I just recently mastered this whole workflow, and I really wanted to share it with you guys because you know, I'm coding mobilely now, and it's just really nice to be able to use npm with Webpack and ES6 and all that stuff to just develop apps and just wonderful Node.js applications directly on your phone. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's helpful to somebody out there, and I will see you next time, guys. Thank you for watching.